Back. Welcome, fellow masters. Today we have a different type of video than our normal FGO guides or our original Guruverse skits. Today we're gonna get a little bit real. When I started this channel, when I started making content for Fate Grand Order, one of the few things that I wanted to do was to entertain and also to educate. I wanted to entertain the community as a whole, and I wanted to educate newcomers and bring in newcomers to the game. I wanted to pretty much show my appreciation and my love for Fate Grand Order and the community that I've been a part of. I wanted to share that with the rest of the community. That being the case, the thing we're going to talk about today is going to be pretty deep and might be hard to swallow, but I definitely believe it needs to be said, especially with Scotty pools happening and everything happening, whether you got it or you didn't. We love Fate and we definitely at least appreciate the gacha games, but it is a very fine line, and I feel like community as a whole can stand to have a reminder. And as someone that makes content for this community, for Fate Grand Order, I feel like it's my responsibility to at least have a public service announcement to talk about this, have this in a conversation, because it's all very important. And it might be a little hard to hear, and you might not even want to hear it, but at the very least, either you click away from the video, or if you actually want to have a conversation with me back and forth about this, definitely leave it down in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to talk about it, but I think it is important that we do talk about the dangers of gacha. Now, before we get into it, I wanted to go ahead and take a moment to thank sponsors for this video, which happen to be all of you. From the patrons on Patreon and the channel members on YouTube, as well as the regular subscribers, and as well as the Twitch subscribers, bits, followers, and everything. We would not be here if it wasn't for all of you. Whether you support us financially or if you just like the video, watch the video, that supports us, and definitely a thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing that, and thank you very much. The first thing that we all need to understand, and we're just gonna say it out the way, gacha is gambling. Let's be real here. If loot boxes are being talked about being gambling, we have to address the elephant in the room. Gacha is pretty much as close to gambling as you can legally get. The biggest thing is, we all know there is not a guarantee for you to get the exact unit, the exact servant that you want in this game. And because that is the case, what they're doing is we're not being sold a product, something that we can physically hold, or something you can say, hey, I want Artoria, I'm gonna buy Artoria. No, we're being sold an experience. The experience is that, oh, a once in a lifetime moment that I can randomly pull the exact servant that I wanted at the right time. But that doesn't always happen, really. There's no sort of pity system. There's no sort of system in place that prevents you from spending an enormous amount of money. And the system that they do have really only rewards people that have the amount of money to throw into this forever. USOs are pretty much the laughable attempt for FGO to have a pity system. I don't even consider it that. So you have to understand, when you are playing this game, you have to think of it as if you are going into the casino and gambling. I mean, they're even using gambling techniques. Yeah, the sparkling lights every time you get a SSR, but don't we all feel that burst of adrenaline when we get that 5-star finally? That's the same feeling as hitting the jackpot, essentially. But once you understand that, once you accept that that's what you're doing, I think you'll be able to better go into this with a savings, with a plan. Because the next thing we have to talk about is the importance of stopping yourself from just that one more roll moment. That moment where you're on a roll and you're just thinking, just one more roll. I know in my heart of hearts, I feel it, that I'll get the servant that I want in the next pool. I know I will. That's not a guarantee. You don't know that. You're tricking yourself. There's no magic force. There's no magical ritual. All there is a random number generator. It's completely random. There's no sort of luck or anything like that. These are just numbers determining whether or not you get a PNG that happens to be of a picture of a waifu or husbando that you like. Again, it's hard to hear, and especially coming from me. I love Okita. Anyone that watches me knows that I stan Okita. I have an Okita wall scroll right behind me. So I get it. Trust me, I get it. But you gotta be able to stop yourself the sunk cost fallacy doesn't really apply when it comes to gacha games. You don't win more at the gacha by putting more money into it. The gacha is just gonna take your money, and you're either gonna get lucky and get it early, or you're not, and you probably will never get them. Or if you do get them, you'll end up with a lot less money than you actually feel comfortable with. Basically, the more money you put in, it doesn't increase your chances. So you just have to accept that, first of all, when you're going into this. Try to stop yourself. Pick your banners if you are going to roll, and try not just to roll at every single little thing and make yourself feel worse. And that leads into the next thing too. If you can, and I think this is very important, don't spend money you don't have on gacha games. If it comes to the point where you have to decide if you're gonna pay rent this month, or you're gonna get this SSR that you really, really want, you gotta pay the rent. Or even if you're not even at a situation, let's say you're still living with your parents or you're living in a dorm, and you have to decide between eating for the day or eating lunch and this SSR. You probably should eat. Definitely maintain that. If your needs are not met, if you still have outstanding bills, if you still have things that you need to take care of financially, take care of those things first before you even think about spending it for the gacha. And this is a general advice anyway. If you want a game, if you want a new car, if it's something that is not a necessity, that needs to be secondary. I'm a father, so the first thing I need to think about is making sure this house stays here, making sure my kids are safe and fed. Likewise, you need to figure out what your hierarchy of needs are. Actually, I'm actually going to leave a link to that. It's a Simply Psychology link about the hierarchy of needs. You just need to understand that. At the end of the day, the game that we play, FGO, any gacha game, it's there to make money. They are trying to maximize the chance to take as much money from you as possible. Oh, these magical limited banners. There's a limited SSR that only's gonna come around limited time. You don't want to miss out on this. You don't want to miss out on that. It's the fear of missing out. These are all tactics to try and get you to open your wallet and give them the money so you can get the servant before they're gone. They've done it with Fujino, they've done it with Miyu, and both of these servants have not received rate ups, even though they could have easily done so. And on top of that, you have to understand too, when they're making this currency, Saint Quartz, when we are spending Saint Quartz, it's so easy to just forget the monetary value to Saint Quartz. Oh, I spent 80 Saint Quartz. Oh, I spent 100 Saint Quartz, 500 Saint Quartz. I spent like 100 single pulls. I did like 10 or 30 10 pulls. That doesn't correlate as easy as I spend $10, $50, $100, $500. And that's the reason why they do that. They want you to think in this in-game currency to separate yourself from the monetary value of the money. That's a very common thing to do. So you have to take a step back before you go too far. And for the other cases, when you're rolling for the servant, I think this is one thing I want to kind of leave off on. If you don't get the servant you want, and you're genuinely upset, like, I mean, you're angry, you're breaking things, you're throwing things, you're yelling things, or you're depressed, you're feeling bad, feeling down on yourself, take a step back. Take a step back and reevaluate the situation. Your happiness should not be determined on RNG, and if it is, perhaps it's time that you maybe find something else that also makes you happy, that's more in your control. You don't have to spend money on a game to have fun. There's other things you can do to have fun, and if you aren't having fun, maybe you just need to take a break from the game. I had to do that earlier in the year. I took a break from FGO to play Arknights. I didn't feel the need to spend any money there. Came back to FGO feeling refreshed. It's just all about that balance. And also, an important thing, differentiating reality from the game. We love Fate for the world it creates. We love the characters. We love the storyline. We get sucked in and absorbed. And especially with the Chaldea Gurus, we create our own guru verse inside of it. And we invite people to join us and be involved. And that's great. But you have to find a balance between diving too far into the world that's false and forgetting reality, like letting that boundary blur, because there is a boundary there. Your real life should not be adversely affected by this fake world. It shouldn't cause real life depression or cause you to feel really bad or lash out against somebody. You shouldn't put an SSR or getting an SSR or not getting an SSR over more important things in your life. So I mean, the best thing you have to understand and remember that when you're starting to get upset, it's just a character. Just a character. They're not an actual person. You can't speak to them. They can't be there to hold you. They can't be there to talk to you. They're a PNG. And if you're getting that focused and that sucked in, just take a step back. It's okay. Come back later. It's fine. It happens to all of us. We're kind of a captive audience here because we really love Fate. And we love it so much, almost more than our own world sometimes. But you have to have a balance. In all things, in all life, is balance. I learned that the hard way. I just wanted to try and express that to you guys, especially those who are feeling bad that they didn't get Scotty, or that they got Scotty but spent a lot of money, a lot more money than they wanted to. And it's okay. Take a step back. Think about all the things we talked about here. I'm sorry, it kind of seemed like I was jumping around, jumbled and mumbled mess, but I'm mainly just kind of speaking from the heart. I had a script. I'm not even reading off of it right now. I'm just mainly trying to speak to you because I care about you guys. And I just want to make sure that we can continue loving this game without it destroying us. That we continue to be a community that we're proud to be a part of without financially destroying ourselves or emotionally destroying ourselves. And that's all I wanted to say. Just please be careful. I really appreciate you guys watching this and sticking around for this long if you're still here with me. Another video that actually goes into depth about the gacha games is actually from Evil Joggin. I'm actually going to put a link to that down below. And if you want to hear more topics like this or want to talk, I actually do stream personally on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays on Twitch. And the other gurus actually stream on Monday and Wednesday. So you'll more than likely catch us any day during the week if you're interested. And come on and hang out. I definitely want to talk more about this. And another thing. We all understand the dangers of the gacha game, but in my humble opinion, I definitely think that there could be more that Aniplex, DW, and Tight Moon can do to make FGO a more consumer-friendly product. So if you guys are interested in hearing my take on what I think personally they should do to make FGO a more consumer-friendly product, something that we can actually enjoy and feel better about, let me know in the comments below. If I see enough comments, I'll make a video on it and I'll put it up. I'll try to put it up within the next week. You guys wanted to see more of my face, so here it is. I like to respond to the people. Let's have a conversation down in the chat down below. And I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Anyhow, my name is Misaki from the Chaldea Gurus. We're logging out. See you next time.